Hello everyone, this is the FIDE Master Alessandro Santagati, and it's a video in which I will talk about the game that I played against the FIDE Master Matthias Tonndorf from Germany. I played this game as black in the Malta Chess Open. It was a very great tournament for me. I was second in a tournament with over 200 players, and so my tournament was fantastic, and I played this game as black. It was a very nice victory that I played, and we can go to see the game. He played e4 and I played e6, d4, d5, so we played the French defense. He chose the advanced variation, and usually in this kind of variation the purpose is make pressure against d4, so I played to do that, c5, and attack the pawn chain, so this is the idea, and now c3 to defend the pawn. I can go forward with my strategy, so knight c6 to make pressure, and now knight f3. And after that, queen b6. We need to make pressure and give some problems with the development. In this moment, he played a3. It's a common variation we did to play before and take space on the queen side. And now I played knight h6. Knight h6 is an interesting move. The idea about this move is go with the knight to f5. And if white will take, so if white will play first the b4, then this, and then take the knight. The black ideas play rook g8 with the idea rook g4, and also play maybe also for a sacrifice of the exchange to take a very important central pawn. I don't go about this because it's very long variation, but in general, this is the idea about black. Maybe in the future I can also make a video about these happenings. Okay, so b4 in the game he played c takes d4, and now sure I play knight f5. With a simple idea to make pressure against d4. I'm attacking this pawn with 3 pieces, so white has only 2 defenders, so he played now bishop b2 to defend the pawn, and it's good. And now I played bishop d7. Bishop d7 is important because it's important to take the square, because my display knight a5, and bishop d7 can help me to avoid move like knight c3 in the future, because white can play g4, and when white will move g4, I'm forced to go back with the knight, and then knight c3 is possible with the d knight a4. So I played bishop d7 because after g4, knight e7, he played knight c3, and now I can play knight a5, because if now knight a4 now with the bishop d7, I can play queen c6, and I can play to take this knight. So if knight a4 now, I play simply queen c6, and now the queen is attacking the knight, and if white will take my knight, I will take back the enemy knight, and my pawn structure is better, so this is good for me. Here, after knight c3, I played knight a5. Knight a5 is a very interesting move. My idea is simple jump with the knight to c4, so here. And after that, he played the rook c1. Probably is not the best move, rook c1. I prefer here play knight d2, maybe make pressure and take the square also with the knight. Looks interesting because now if knight c4, I think he can simply take, and this is good for me, so it's good for white because now white can jump to d6. So after knight d2 is not possible for me to jump, but I could play rook c8, and after, for example, queen c2 and knight c4, it looks, sorry, not immediately because there is always some problems. So after queen c2, yes, I think he can avoid that I can take the square c4, and maybe I can take the pawn d4, but white is a very nice attack with the b takes e5 first, and after queen e5 check, okay, white I think has a good position, is up a piece, have a compensation, but it's not a very easy position for black, I think. So I think the right solution for white is play first knight e2, and then play queen c2 after rook c8, because if queen c2, knight c4 is not so good, because there is bishop takes e4, d takes e4, and then knight c on e4 with it to take c4 with the other knight and win the square d6. Okay, but my opponent didn't play it. He played rook c1, and now I have the time to play knight c4. He played bishop takes, d takes, and his idea was play knight e4 with the idea to attack d6 and to attack the pawn c4. But the problem is that I can simply sacrifice this pawn, because after knight e5 and the rook takes e4, I can simply play bishop b5. Now my bishop can block, can avoid the enemy castle, so the enemy king is forced to stand the center. Okay, white is up a pawn, but the compensation looks very strong for black. At the moment he played rook c5, his idea was that if I take the exchange now with the bishop, I can simply take with the d pawn, and there is a good compensation for the exchange after knight d6 check, because my king would be forced to stand the center, and this knight on d6 looks very strong. So it was his idea, but sure, I'm not forced to take, and I played knight f4 to improve my knight, and now my knight is very dangerous because can jump to g2, can jump to d3, and to avoid d3 he played rook c3 to avoid the check on d3, and now I played queen a6. Queen a6 is very interesting because my simple threat is play bishop a6, the bishop can attack the queen, and if queen d2 there is mate with the knight on g2, and if he moves queen away there is mate with the queen on e2, so there are some problems for him. For this reason I played queen c2 with the to threaten the move rook c8, and I played rook d8 to avoid that and don't allow the check, and now I played knight g3 to defend the square e2 and allow queen e4. For example, if I play bishop a4, queen e4 is possible to defend the position. And now I played bishop e7, simply go forward with the development without big problems. And now he played knight h5. Knight h5 is an interesting move because his idea is remove a very important piece for my attack, the knight to f4, and at the same time this knight is threatening g7. I thought a lot about this move, and at the end I thought that I could simply give the pawn g7, so I played knight e5, because after that my knight can attack c3, and this rook is without other squares in the same file, so in the c file no squares for this rook. And if he moves knight takes g7 check, is very important play for me, a very important and strong move, king d7. King d7 is very good because my purpose is have the rooks that can allow me to take the c file. For example, in this game, if white moves this, I take, and after queen takes, my idea would be rook c8, queen a4, I take the second rank, and I think the game will be lost for white after that, because the king is always blocked. For this reason, this is very nice for me, but he didn't play it. He played, after king d7, the move rook c5, but it's also good for me. Now I think the game is completely lost for him, and I played this move, pawn takes, bishop d3, queen d1, now I played the rook g8, and now my pieces can go into the game to attack the king, so it looks very good for me. So knight h5, completely winning. Rook takes e4, my threat is e4, so he played knight d2 to avoid that, and now I played rook dg8 to threaten rook g1 check. He played knight g3, so all the enemy pieces are forced to go back to defend the position, to defend my mate threats. The king is always blocked, so that's terrible for white. Now I played king c8, because don't hurry, I don't need to attack immediately. I have a lot of moves, I have a lot of time, so I can simply improve my position without big problems. And I played the queen f3. He's without an idea, so he's trying to do something, but rook f4, queen d1, so the queen can go back, but now queen b5. And now my simple idea is to improve my position with a5. Attack b4, attack the bishop, so that's terrible for him. And he played knight b3, but now this knight don't take the square, and I played the rook g4 to threaten the sacrifice of the exchange on e4. And he played now bishop c1, but taking simply sacrifice. He didn't take, but now the game is lost. So bishop b2 to avoid the mate on c3. Now sacrifice the exchange. If now white takes, there is simply rook e2 check, and after queen takes, queen c2, and then mate on d2. So the game is finished. Okay, didn't take, but not so important. Knight c1 to avoid the mate. Here rook h3. Here queen a4. To be honest, in this position, I had 1 minute in my clock, so I didn't pay attention if now I can mate. My simple idea was trade the queens because I'm a rook up, so I don't need to risk. So I played simply queen b5, queen takes, queen a6, and I'm happy to trade the queens because with the rook up, also with few seconds, I can win this game because there is the increment 30 seconds for each move, so that's now very easy. And for this reason, after queen a6, white resigns. The game is completely lost. This game is very interesting. Can show you how it's important to pay attention about the king's safety. The pawns are important, but the king is more important, so That's a very important rule that you can understand in this game. I hope that you enjoyed it, and see you for the next videos. Bye! Remember to follow me on social networks and share the video with your friends. Thanks!